Hi folks. Okay, we're here for another video. So the last one we did was on that cedar fencing and how to dry it if it's wet. So what we want to do now is we get a lot of questions on pricing, how we price our signs. So we've kind of gone over that briefly in the past, but what I want to do here is do some calculations and show you exactly how I figure out signs when somebody's saying they want a quote on a strange size sign that's not a standard sign for me. So to begin with, these are some of our standard sizes. This is a 6 by 24, and I get anywhere from $30 to $40 for this. If I'm up in Oatman, I get 30 bucks for it because it's just kind of a over-the-counter thing. There's no shipping or anything like that involved. This one is a $35 sign in Oatman, and it's basically the same size as the other one, as this Martin sign. But because I have to cut the shape, I get $5 more for it because there's a little bit more detail in it. And then this is just a 4 by 14, or 4 by 18, excuse me. This is a standard $20 sign for me. I don't normally charge by the letter. I normally charge by the size of the board. Now the caveat to that is if there's a lot of artwork, I'll charge a little bit more. But anyway, this is our standard sizes. So let's say that we got something that is a non-standard size and we got to quote them a price for it. So if we do that, what we have to do is we charge generally somewhere between $30 to $50 a square foot. Again, you can charge whatever you want. I'm just telling you what I do. I charge somewhere between $30 and $50 a square foot, and I'll tell you how I go about that. But anyway, so if that's the case, then we have to figure out what the square footage is for the sign that we're quoting on. So Dad, just give me a random price of a sign or a size.
9.5 by 15.5.
Okay, 9.5. So 9.5 times 15.5.
Right.
Okay, so that if that's the case, and these are inches, 9.5 inches by 15.5 inches. So what we have to do is we have to multiply this. This is the length times the width. So let me figure that out real quick on my calculator. So you can follow along. 9.5 times 15.5 equals 147.25 equals 147.25 inches. Okay, so that's square inches. Okay, so now, all right, so we've got square inches. How do we figure out how many square feet that is? Well, if we take 12 inches times 12 inches, that would be a square foot, right? That equals 144 square inches. So if we take 147.25 and we divide it by 144, that tells us it's 1.02. That's not right.
Yeah.
Is that right?
1.02 square feet.
Yeah, 1.02 square feet. 1.02 square feet. So now we've taken an odd shaped size and we know it's 1.02 square feet times, what are we going to charge? $30 to $40 to $50 a square foot.
Well, just use 40 as an average.
If we times 40, then we know 1.02 times 40 equals about 40 bucks. Somewhere around $40, $42, something like that. So it's basically about a $40 sign if we're charging $40 a square foot. Now, some of the things that you want to take into account by figuring out whether you're at the low end or the high end, as far as what I do. Again, this is all what I do, guys, is how much detail is involved, as in artwork. Do I need to blow pictures up and transfer them on the board? Is it all lettering? If it's all lettering and there's nothing really special about it and it's not a whole lot, then I'm going to be more on the low end. If there's pictures that I have to blow up and I have to do a lot of artwork, if it's a weird shape like that one that you saw a couple videos ago, that Fat Boys, that was a special shape and I had to do, then it would be a little bit more on the high end. So again, it's not really tough to figure out. So let's take one more instance, and I'll just come up with something real quick. Let's say it's 10 by 42. I'm just throwing that out. So 10 times 42, that's easy to figure. That's 420 square inches, okay? Divided by your 144. 420 divided by 144 equals 2.9, basically, equals 2.9. So 2.9.
That's square feet.
That's square feet. 2.9 times, let's say it's $40 equals, well, let's say 2.9 times $40 a square foot, say we're in the median range, then you're talking about basically $116. And again, you can round that down to 115 or you can go up to 120, whatever. But that's basically how it's done. You take your square inches or your inches, you know that you're at 420 square inches, then you divide it by 144, which tells you how many square feet you have. That's square feet. And then you multiply that times whatever you're going to charge, 30, 40, 50. Maybe another thing to factor in here is how hungry you are. You know, if you've got a lot of stuff to do and you don't want, and you really want this order, sometimes I'll knock a little bit off of there. So, but generally speaking, just in general terms, somewhere between $30 and $50 a square foot.
I got a question, son.
Yeah.
Won't that, will the price that you pay for your board have something to do with it? If you use a real heavy, thick, like a 3-inch thick board, and you have a high price on your board,
yeah,
that'll determine a lot of it too.
Yeah, if you're buying, say, that perfect plank that I use on that Western Red Cedar, and you've got to pay for that board coming in, what you'll have to do is factor that in and either add that in or have the customer pay for that board. Then you may be on the low end because you have no material costs. So you have to factor that in, your material costs. Now with these, obviously, my standard signs, I already went into on our last video why I really like this cedar. It carves well, but it's very inexpensive. So yeah, that does come into, thank you for bringing that up, Dad. That does come into account. Again, even that panel board, it's fairly inexpensive. But then if you have got a lot of labor of skinning the back of it with that 1/2-inch birch plywood like we showed a couple videos ago, then you've got more labor into it too there. So that has to kind of, that's going to be more at the high end. But then if it's all inset letters and it's all just lettering, that may bring it back down. So, it's all kind of where you want to be. But I'm just telling you how I go about pricing my stuff. If I've got a lot of material costs in it, there's something really strange on it. Like I just posted something on Facebook the other day that was the Notre Dame little leprechaun thing. That was made for a gift, but if I was charging for that, I would take into account that there was a lot of detail on that N and D and the leprechaun especially, and I had some time getting that on the board, getting it the right size and all that. So that would be upward, definitely be up there around $50 a square foot. Now here's a caveat. Do not tell your customers that you're charging them by the square foot. You figure it out and then tell them the price. If you tell them that you're charging them $40 a square foot or $50 a square foot and that's the way you price your stuff, you're going to freak them out. Do not do that. It's a mistake. We've tried it over and over and it doesn't work out well. But if you just tell them, hey, your sign is going to be $115, they're fine with it. But if you tell them per square foot, they think, oh my gosh, he's gouging me. So just don't, it's a bad idea. Don't do that. Again, just our opinion, but that's what I'm telling you. All right, Dad, do you want to get in here and talk a little bit?
Yeah, I can.
Let me get this out of the way.
What I want to talk about, just briefly, I want to talk about something that you need to understand, that everything that Eric told you here that we do is done when we're selling the sign to the customer. Now, if you've got my set of business tapes, you know that when I started this business back in the 70s, I started selling my signs through dealers. Dealers, by their nature, have to make a commission on everything they sell. So they get a percentage. Now, we've always given 40% to our dealers. So if you've got a $40 sign, the dealer sells it, you've got to make it and somehow get it to the dealer or the customer. So maybe $40 might be a little bit low for you. You might want to go to $50 or $55 a square foot so that you can figure a 40% sales commission to the dealer. If they sell the sign, they're entitled to commission. You may want to do less than that, but 40% is fair, and you'll find that your dealers get excited about 40% for something that they have no investment in. You're making a display, you're putting it in the dealers, just like I recommend on the video. And the dealer has no cost. He gets a customer back in to upsell, the finishing and the hardware for hanging and so on. So just be aware that if it's a dealer sign, if you're selling it through a dealer, you may want to go on the high end in everything that you do so that you make a profit. You got to remember though, if you've got 100 dealers selling signs for you, you're just sitting in the shop making signs and getting them back to them. You're not doing the selling, you're not going out, you don't have a lot of expense. So you can sell for a lot less. So if you discount yours 30 to 40% and let the dealer make that much money, he gets excited about it. You make a standard living and just staying in your shop like I do. I don't go out and sell. I just hang in my shop and do all my work in my shop and ship it all out. And so everybody that works as a dealer for me gets a percentage of what I make. So I just wanted to point that out. Eric just did a really great explanation on how to price signs when you're selling them direct. When you're selling them through a dealer, you price them the same formula, but you price them on the higher end because it's going to a dealer and the dealer gets a commission. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, we're done?
We're done.
Okay, see you next time, folks. Check out our Facebook page. See ya.